Hello and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. Thank you very much for checking us out. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to give you our Super Wild Card Weekend predictions. I'm David Huppin. Right there is Christian Simpson and my co-host, Mr. T.J. Hopkins. And Christian Simpson from the Daily Blitz.blog. Let's not forget that. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Thank you very much for checking us out all season long as we get ready to break down the playoffs. We're also going to touch on Bill Belichick briefly towards the very end of the show, so keep an eye out for that content. Gentlemen, is this even called Super Wildcard Weekend anymore? Do they still call it that?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I got that branding down then. Good for me.
Yeah.
So how you guys all doing? Happy Thursday. TJ, how you doing with the weather over there? It's coming here for us tomorrow morning.
It ain't hit yet, but it's on its way.
Travel safely, my friend. If you do have to, when you have to drive tonight, if you do, let's get right into Super Wildcard Weekend. Let's start with Saturday afternoon, and we got the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans going toe-to-toe. This is a rematch from a game basically like a month ago or so, about 3 weeks ago. Cleveland hung up 36 points on the Houston Texans and won this game 36-22. Small caveat, though, C.J. Stroud did not play the Houston Texans in this game. But how do we think the playoff version of this game is going to shake out? TJ, I'll let you have the floor first.
I got the Browns winning. I just think that in this situation, having a quarterback, most importantly, who's definitely been there before, time and time again, he's not going to get rattled. He's not going to get, shaken off his spot. It's a role playoff game, but that's, again, Joe Flacco been here before. Remember the Mile High Miracle? We just threw that thing up to, who was that, Christian? Jacoby
Jones, baby.
Jacoby Jones. It was like, it's fourth and a mile. You make this stop, you win the game. It's just like, I'm Joe Cool. No, give me the Browns. Give me the Browns.
Was that Raheem Moore? Raheem Moore that was basically let them get the top over Jacoby Jones, and he ended up going into the end zone, tying the game up. They win the game in overtime because Denver didn't even try in that final possession to try to score the ball with some amount of time left in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Not that any of this is relevant to any of this matchup, but swinging into the 2023 version, as we got Joe Flacco still playing football against TJ's wishes. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns as well. I think that I think their defense is just so good. I think it'll propel them. I think Houston is a very good story, and I think they will make this game interesting. But I think the Cleveland Browns have a slight edge when it comes to this matchup between the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the Cleveland Browns in this one, just due to the simple fact defense travels, and Cleveland has been one of the more consistent defenses in the league all year long, and I think they have the front runner to win Defensive Player of the Year in Myles Garrett. I haven't seen an edge rusher this dominant since prime J.J. Watt. And when you talk about the elite defensive play callers in the league, make sure you put Jim Schwartz in that conversation as well. I think he's going to throw a ton of different looks at C.J. Stroud, but I don't think Amari Cooper is going to have 265 yards receiving this time around. But I do like Cleveland to win the football game.
Yeah, I think that one thing that C.J. Stroud struggles against so far in his NFL career is throwing against man coverage. Like, if you sit back in the zone, he can pick you apart. But, like, he's yet to – his numbers against man defense is significantly lower than throwing against the zone. So I think that's what we're going to see the Cleveland Browns do a lot this Saturday is – they're probably gonna. I mean, like with the front.
They have one of the best. What is it? Denzel Ward had one of the best quarterback seasons in a long time. They're defensive back for that.
With the season,
Greg Newsome the second too. So,
and with the front that you have, you don't really need to blitz a lot. Like you can get home just fine with Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith on the other side. So I think there's gonna be a lot of man up. Whoever got Nico Collins, which is probably going to be Denzel Ward. I like my top corner to handle his own in that situation.
Swinging into the late game, the primetime game, which is on exclusively on Peacock. So hopefully you have that streaming service so you can watch this football game. I think it's still ridiculous that the NFL is going to require you to have a streaming service to watch a playoff game. That baffles me. I know a lot of people have it, but there are a lot of people that don't have it. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But with that being said, we got the Miami Dolphins going into Arrowhead, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Last time, a lot of rematches actually on this card when it comes to these playoff in the first round. We got the Kansas City Chiefs won the last matchup against the Miami Dolphins 21-14, and I think it'll be a very similar result here in the playoffs. I think Miami, they have shown whenever they go up against the elite of the elite in the NFL, they struggle and they lose. Patrick Mahomes will make one more play than Tua Tagovailoa. He'll drive this team to victory. I'm going with Kansas City, and this defense of Kansas City, I think, will know how to play Tyreek Hill. He was there for 6 seasons, 5 seasons, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
we saw them. We saw them in the game against each other. What was that? Where they go? Munich, Frankfurt, Germany. They was in Germany. All I know, they was in Germany. And I'm talking to my brother, and I'm like, hey. I was just making a prediction. I'm like, hey, Tyreek gonna go for 10 for about 175 and 2 touchdowns. My brother's like, nah, not happening. And I'm like, you trip. I'm like, he finna light their ass up. And lo and behold, he did not light their ass up. It was the complete opposite. He had very little impact. He also fumbled the ball, which is very uncharacteristic of him to do that. I know what Christian's gonna say, and I'm gonna steal it from him. You got people talking about they should move this game indoors. Christian was Christian was upset.
I've seen a lot of people on the social media talking about moving this game to Indy and playing in the house that Peyton Manning built because it's supposed to be like -6 during this game at night. And he's still gonna have Chiefs fans with no shirt watching the game.
Because a certain somebody on this panel said that's not that cold, and he used to walk his ass to school. Remember that, TJ?
Yeah, I remember that. Hey, I think in the first, real talk, real quick, completely off subject, but for the first time in my years of watching the NBA on TNT, they pulled the game off TNT. They went to a different game.
I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah, me neither.
They went to a different game, and what makes it worse is the game they went to is also a blowout.
Well, sucks to suck, TNT. Man, it's 102-65. Did they go to this Blazer game, which is 75-39?
They went to Dallas, New York. And
that game was at least close-ish. By comparison, I guess.
All right, it's 21. It's a 21-point game. But anyway, it's a matter of with this game. It's a matter of while you have Pat Mahomes, and you know Pat Mahomes is going to do Pat Mahomes things. Do you trust the counterparts? Do you trust everybody not named Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice, who's coming to his own? Do you trust everybody else around him to make plays? Isaiah Pacheco, great. He ain't a great running back, but he does what he needs to do for them. Right? He runs angry, Christian knows what I'm talking about. He run like he make that he make that sound when he runs.
All right, TJ, can I add on?
Go ahead.
When I look at this game, I think McCall Hardman's going to have to be the X factor for the Kansas City Chiefs because he's the only wide receiver that's played with Patrick Mahomes the longest.
Outside of Kelce.
Outside of Kelce. So think about it. Miami, they're going to come out and they're going to double Kelce and they're going to put added emphasis on Rashee Rice because he's been stepping up. And I think that's going to provide a lot of one-on-one clear paths for McCall Hardman. And TJ, what did I say to you prior to the national championship? You have 2 types of football teams. You have the teams that want to make it a dogfight, and you have the teams that want to make it a track meet, right? The teams that you play that like to make it a track meet, you have to make the game ugly early on, and I think that's what Kansas City is going to do. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one.
Yeah, it's hard not to. It's really hard. Like you got You got a hot weather team
Going into
and
the tundra.
coming into the cold, like literally what's going to be. I think this breaks the ice bowl temperatures, like the old, like that Chicago game that was like negative whatever, like all those years ago. Like I think the temperatures in this game is gonna break the temperatures in that game. This will be the coldest game, regular or postseason in NFL history. It's yeah. Give me the give me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs.
And then from there, we swing into Sunday. We have first game on the docket involves the AFC East champion Buffalo Bills hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time these two teams locked horns, let me hold on a second, was earlier this season, actually, where the Pittsburgh Steelers won that game. This has got to be a preseason game, but I'll look it up. But Pittsburgh 10-7 basically had to win out in order to get the playoffs. Buffalo 11-6 had to win out to make the playoffs. Steelers had to win out and get some help. But both these teams are kind of on a surge here. Pittsburgh winners 2 in a row, I think. Buffalo winning 5 straight coming into this matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I'll say this. Buffalo's not here if they don't fire Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator. I think that was the best thing for them to do. And now I think Buffalo, they're a little bit more equipped to make a run come playoff time, because what was the formula when Ken Dorsey was the offensive coordinator? Force feed the ball to Stephon Diggs.
That was a formula?
Allen play. What'd you say?
That was a formula?
Yeah. Josh Allen be the hero constantly.
Josh Allen play hero ball. Now they're spreading the ball around to the open receiver, and they're making it a point of emphasis to run the football. I think Khalil Shakir is going to be the X factor for Buffalo in this one. He can go over the middle. He can take the top off the coverage, and he just makes that big catch down the field when you need it. Pittsburgh, it's going to be a long day for them without TJ Watt. You see the difference when he's on the field compared to when he's not on the field. I like Buffalo, and for Buffalo to dominate in this game, they got to start quickly. They cannot come out the gates struggling.
Actually, so the last time these two teams actually played was last year. Buffalo hung up 38 points on the Pittsburgh Steelers and won the game fairly easily. The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills played in the playoffs, it was in 1996. I know, TJ, you're probably just barely even a thought in your mother's eye.
96? I was 2.
Yeah, so Christian, do you remember who won the game the last time these two teams played in the playoffs in 1996? Pittsburgh did win. Do you have a shot at what the final score was when these two teams played?
Hell no.
So no. Pittsburgh Steelers won the game in the playoffs 40-21. Can you name the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers in that game?
That sounds like some Cordell Stewart.
No, not quite.
Neil O'Donnell.
Neil O'Donnell was the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm wasting all this time to tell you, Buffalo's going to win this game. They are the better football team. I think it's a nice story that Pittsburgh got themselves into the playoffs. It's very nice. Kudos to them. Congratulations. Mike Tomlin continues to show why he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. But Buffalo is a different breed. They're going to steamroll the Pittsburgh Steelers. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about the score being flipped from that game in 1996 and Buffalo hangs up 40 on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
TJ.
Christian texted me his article earlier. Christian, just a heads up. I ain't read it because I ain't need to read it. I text you what I said was needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I said Buffalo got to dominate, and you responded with, punch him in the mouth early and often.
Yeah.
And often.
Look, I think for the Steelers to have a chance, Najee Harris and George Pickens, they had to have the games of their life. I mean, George is your best playmaker from a receiving standpoint, and they're making it a point of emphasis to feed Najee the ball.
Yeah.
From this game, we're going to swing into the NFC, and we have one of the oldest rivalries in sports with the Green Bay Packers going into Jerry World and taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Last time these two teams played was earlier this season. Oh, wait, whoa.
No.
Hold on, I have the wrong team here, but I will look it up in a second. But yeah, Cowboys coming in and beating the Washington Commanders to win the NFC East. Packers obviously beating the Chicago Bears to snag that final wild card spot. Last time these two teams played was last season, where the Green Bay Packers escaped with the win in overtime, 31-28. But how do you think the 2023 playoff version shakes out, TJ?
Dallas, and more Dallas. Dallas at home is like the 96 Chicago Bulls. Like, it was like everything just seems to go their way. Things just, it's very, very, very rare that they quote unquote struggle at home. And they haven't lost a home game in like 2 years, I think. Like, dating back to last season, they have regular season, they have not lost a home game.
I mean, they're averaging damn near 40 points
40
a game
points
at home.
a game at home. Like, it's crazy. And obviously, if you're the Packers, this season, for it to be a quote unquote down year, just like, you ain't got to win this game. Obviously, you would love to win this game, but even if you lose this game, this season was a success. You couldn't have asked it to go any better than what it did under Jordan Love's stewardship as a first-year starter. But give me Dallas at home. I just think that in order for Green Bay to win this game, steal this game, they kind of got to do the same thing Pittsburgh has to do. They got to come out the gate, and they got to use the shock factor. They got to use
the Cowboys have shown that if they get punched in the mouth, that they're unable to respond. Like, every single team that's beaten them has gotten on them early and basically blew them out. Also, Dallas Cowboys 16-1 at home the last 2 seasons. They did lose one game last season. I do not know what game that is because I don't have the number in front of me, but they're 16-1 in 2 years at home.
Like, bro, forget, you lost one game in 2 years at home. One game.
That's pretty damn impressive.
Like, that's insane. Give me the Dallas. Give me Dallas. I think, and even if they Green Bay quote unquote hangs in there for a minute, I think at some point in time Dallas pulls away because while Jair Alexander, I also think that this has to be the game Jair Alexander gets some frequent flyer miles. Wherever CeeDee Lamb go, he got to go. And they line CeeDee Lamb up all over the place. He outside, he inside, and Jair Alexander is primarily an outside corner. So if you throw your nickel corner on CeeDee Lamb, he gonna do what he did to the Lions. He gonna get you for about 230, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Especially since the Green Bay Packers really don't have depth in the cornerback, in the backfield, at the secondary. I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys too. I just think that their offense is too potent at home. I think they've just been too good at home. And no matter what happens here with the Green Bay Packers, this has been a successful season. Like, they started off pretty rough. I think they were 3-6 at one point. To go 6-2 of your final 8 games and end up making the playoffs as a wild card team is pretty damn impressive, even in a down year for the NFC as a whole. Dallas is just the better football team. They should win this game. I would be legitimately shocked if they didn't win this game. Christian.
David.
Oh boy, it's been a while.
For the first time in 2024, David.
Shameless plug.
Number one.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I was giving you shameless plugs when you weren't even here. So I was thinking.
All right. Okay. So now we got to do this over. On my count. 1, 2, 3. Shameless
plug number one.
Baby. Aaron Jones has to be great for the Packers to win this game because Dallas has shown you their vulnerability on the defensive side is what? They can't stop the run. Look at what Buffalo did to him a couple of weeks ago. And why Miami didn't follow that formula is beyond me. And like TJ said, Green Bay got to come out guns blazing, right? But I love what I'm seeing from this Dallas offense because it's not just one guy making his mark; it's multiple guys. Yeah, C.D. Lamb, he's a grown ass man, right? But Jake Ferguson is making plays. Brandon Cooks is doing work. Michael Gallup, and it all starts with Dak Prescott. This is the best I've ever seen him look. I preview this one tomorrow on the site. Be on the lookout for it, baby.
And that's on the dailyblitz.com, so keep an eye out for that stuff. Moving on from there, let's talk about Sunday Night Football, and the prodigal son returns to Ford Field as Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams take on the Detroit Lions. Last time these two teams played was 2 years ago. The Rams won that game 28-19. But how do you see this version in the 2023 version shake out? Rams, Lions, as Stafford returns to Ford Field for the first time since being traded there to the Rams 3 years ago now, maybe, I think.
He's asking one of, and I'm not trolling, I'm like using actual factual statements here. You're asking one of the worst secondaries in the league with one solid pass rusher to knock Matthew Stafford off his spot. The Matthew Stafford who was throwing no-look passes before Pat Mahomes ever thought about stepping foot in the NFL. The Matthew Stafford who legit was the only one who made Detroit football worth watching for 12 years. No disrespect to Megatron. Give me the Rams in an upset.
I'm not sure that will be actually an upset. By the way,
it's an upset.
Khalif Raymond did not practice. Sam Laporta did some stuff after practice that has Lions beat writers optimistic that he may play in this game, even if he plays as kind of a decoy gadget player. I'm gonna take the Detroit Lions because I think that they want this game a little bit more. Oh man, there's like someone on the internet has put that Sam Laporta on Sunday, and it's that Greg Jennings video. I've never seen that one where he's on Madden putting the team on his back with a broken leg. Anyways, yeah, the Detroit Lions. Yeah, I think that there's some buzz around this team, and I just think that they're gonna be able to overcome all the adversity and obstacles. And yes, I think this is gonna be a high scoring game. Like I could imagine that this game is going to be like 38-35. I'll take the Lions, but I would not be shocked at all if the Los Angeles Rams went into Ford Field and knocked off the Detroit Lions. By the way, the season series, the all-time series of these two teams, 45, 41-1. Who do you think has the edge?
It's got to be the Rams.
It is the Rams. They have 4 more wins over the Detroit Lions. Last time these two teams locked up in a playoff game, actually they've never played in a playoff game throughout the course of their entire history. Actually, they did play in 1952, but even I wasn't born in 1952. So
you had a whole bit.
Yeah, came out the
womb.
TJ's right. I was alive in 1952. That would make me 70 years old.
Yeah, and Christian, for what it's worth, Quinn Ewers just decided he's coming back to school. So, breaking news.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean,
yes and no.
I mean, his draft stock was at an all-time high when he beat Alabama, but it's definitely taken a hit since then.
I think he got hurt because he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got hurt.
So, I mean, he had first-round pick buzz around here.
If the Rams win this game, is it like would you call it an upset, right? If the Rams win this game?
Yeah, because Detroit's a tough place to play. Oh, and David, I need you again. Come on,
let's
David.
go. Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Shameless plug number 2.
2, baby. Yeah, this game's gonna be full of emotion. Stafford going back to where it started. And I also want to throw a little fact at you guys. Calvin Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, all had record-setting seasons. Can you guess what the common denominator is for all 3?
Matthew Stafford.
Thank you. And
they're all over 6 feet tall.
Okay. Yeah, I'll accept that too.
I'm just kidding.
I know. That Lions secondary got shredded the other day. I mean,
They've gotten shredded for like the last month straight.
yeah, and I mean the last month of the season, David, the Lions' inexperience has really showed. You see what I'm saying? Like they were cruising along beginning of the year, but then I noticed they were really struggling when they played the Bears the first time in Detroit. Remember, the Bears were a 12-point lead. They had to come back in that one. And then on Thanksgiving, the Packers just went in there and beat them. I previewed this one on Sunday, about 2 hours before the game. So be on the lookout.
Yeah, go check out that content at dailyblitz.blog and swing it into Monday Night Football as we have the crawling Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who also haven't played particularly well over the final 2 weeks of the season, as they got basically barely beat Carolina. They got beat down by the New Orleans Saints. Going into Philadelphia, Philadelphia's coming there. They've lost basically, I think, 4 games in a row, limping into the playoffs for the Philadelphia Eagles. Fun fact, this season, this all-time series is tied at 11 games apiece. So this will be the quote-unquote rubber match between these two teams. And the last time these two teams played was actually earlier this season, where the Philadelphia Eagles hung up 25 points on Tampa Bay and won the game by 14 points. Obviously, they played 2 years ago in the playoffs in a game the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won in the route to the Super Bowl. I do believe. No, the Rams Super Bowl, actually.
They didn't win. They just kicked
first playoff game for Jalen Hurts, though, I do believe, in 2022. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, how do you think this game's going to shake out? Let's go Christian first.
David.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go. Shameless
plug number 3.
Baby. Look, I'm just going to come out and say it because not a lot of people will, and I'm going to be as professional yet blunt at the same time. The Eagles are tampon soft. Okay? Woo! Look, I'm just being honest. TJ, would I be me if I wasn't honest?
Mm-mm.
Listen, David, I was never sold on Philly when they were 10-1 because remember I kept told you they kept teeter-tottering on thin ice. The game against San Francisco broke them, and they've never been able to recover. Dallas punched them in the mouth, and then DeMarcus Lawrence even called them soft as well. You go up to Seattle, they beat you. Should have lost to the Giants the first time, but it's okay, man.
Should have lost both games to Washington.
Yeah, and they lose to Arizona, only to lose to the Giants this past Sunday. Well, that was supposed to happen. A.J. Brown might not play in this game, from what I'm reading, and that's huge for them because he's their best offensive weapon. But the Eagles got to go back to establishing DeAndre Swift because when they were feeding him the ball, good things happened. Tampa Bay, I think they're the biggest surprise here. I don't think anybody expected this of them. Year 1 after Brady. Don't know what you're going to get from Todd Bowles. And most importantly, you don't know what you're going to get from Baker Mayfield. This is the best I've seen Baker Mayfield look since he's come into the NFL. And he's probably more than likely going to win Comeback Player of the Year. I previewed this one on Saturday. Be on the lookout.
So talking about different stuff, talk about contrasting. So the Philadelphia Eagles, losers of 5 of the last 6 games. Tampa Bay, winners of the 5 of the last 6 games. Although 2 of those games were against the Panthers and 1 game was against the woeful Atlanta Falcons. So take it as you will. What?
You play who's on your schedule.
I know. I'm just pointing out some facts here, all right? With that being said, I think I just don't know how good Tampa Bay is. I think they won a bad division full of just all bad football teams in it. I think Philadelphia is still the better football team than Tampa Bay. I will reluctantly take Philadelphia to win this game on the road at Raymond James Stadium with the pirate ship and all the noise that it's going to be going on, the hoopla and primetime TV. The Eagles are just a better football team on paper than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I will reluctantly take them to win this game. But
can we definitively say that though?
I think so. I mean, Antoine Winfield has been one of the best secondary players in the NFL this year. One of the biggest Pro Bowl snubs this year by far. But I think when you look at their roster, from top to bottom, the Philadelphia Eagles have a better football team. They have a better offensive line. They have a better defensive line. They should win this game. and I think they will. I'm going to reluctantly take that as my prediction. I'll take the Eagles.
Like better football team. Real talk, Mike Evans and AJ Brown, that's a wash, in my opinion. Like
I don't think AJ Brown will play. He did not practice today. That indicative of him being able to play, because a lot of players sit out their first day of practice. But when you're when you're getting banged up and your team hasn't played well for the last month and a half, you probably want your best wide receiver to practice every single day. So if he was good to go, he probably would have practiced. I don't think he'll play.
Devontae Smith and Chris Godwin also likely a wash. Running back room, I can't say because of how the
Rashad White's been the man this season.
Because of how the Eagles have just completely Jason Kelsey legit told what's his name? David, you just said his name. The running back for the Eagles.
DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, Rashad Penny.
He basically told DeAndre Swift he apologized to him because he knows for a fact that if you break a long run and you get tackled short of the goal line, you're not getting a touchdown because they're doing the push. He legit apologized to DeAndre Swift because DeAndre Swift should have way more touchdowns on the season than what he has. But he knows for a fact in short yardage situations, 9 times out of 10 they're doing the touch push. I don't like the way the Eagles have closed out the season. It doesn't instill a lot of confidence, even if it's against a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Would I be surprised if the Eagles went down there and won that game? No. Just like I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. Give me Tampa Bay at home.
I think the other thing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Green Bay Packers, you're kind of playing with house money. Nobody expected you to be here in the first place. Like, the fact that you made the playoffs is outstanding anyway. Like, you're going to celebrate the season because you made the playoffs in the first place. Like, nobody expected that of you. You're playing with house money. You can just go out there and play as free as you want.
Yeah. And on top of that, Phillies. One thing we did mention, Phillies they turning the ball over a lot more. Jalen Hurts has thrown 15 interceptions this season to 23 touchdowns to 15 picks. Come on, man.
Yeah, he's also fumbled the ball a bunch this season as well. I don't have that stat in front of me, but it seemed like he fumbled it more than he did last season. Yeah, I guess we'll see. But I guess that's why they say they play the game. We'll break down the results next Tuesday, so keep an eye out for that content. Let's swing into right before we get up out of here. We did have some breaking news in the National Football League earlier this morning. Bill Belichick leaving the Patriots after 24 seasons and 6 titles. We will talk about the job itself on Monday when we talk about the coaching carousel. But let's just talk about Bill Belichick, his impact, his legacy. Like, what is Bill Belichick's lasting legacy going to be? Let's say that even if he moves on to another football team and coaches somewhere else after this, what will be his legacy?
He's the greatest coach I've ever seen. Okay. He just had a knack for structure. I remember in 2015, I interviewed former defensive end Andre Carter. Right, and he played for New England the year they went to the Super Bowl in 2011. And one of the first few questions I asked him was, describe a practice when you play for the Patriots. And he's like, Bill Belichick is as business oriented and as structured as they come. You could always pencil his Patriots teams in to win the division. I mean, everybody is talking about, well, he ain't this with Brady, and he ain't that with Brady. He's only made the playoffs once since Tom left him. Okay, but without Bill Belichick, the Patriots aren't the dynasty that they are. Okay? 24 seasons. 21 of those were winning seasons. Mm-hmm. He won 17 division titles. 9 trips to the AFC Championship game. That's the most for any other coach in football history.
Nine
Six.
conference championships.
Nine conference championships, 6 Super Bowls, 333 career wins, which is second behind the great and late Don Shula. Put respect on this man's name. Plain and simple.
I ain't
One of-
I ain't got to remember stay black and die. I'm just lying.
one of 4 undefeated and untied regular seasons in NFL history. It was the only one under the 16-game schedule. 21 winning seasons, 12 Super Bowl appearances. That includes his time as assistant. 17 division titles. The only people with under that is tied with 13. 4 more division titles than the next guy after him. Bill Belichick is an all-timer, best coach of all time. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever he decides to actually hang it up. No question his legacy in the NFL. Do your job. It's gone.
So far, like it's a simple mantra. It's a simple mantra that they live by. Do your job. And a lot of people, to Christian's point, a lot of people try to discredit Bill because of his lack of success with guys not named Tom Brady. And no matter how fair or foul you think that is, you still got to acknowledge the guy that Bill Belichick is, the coach that he is. It's I can only imagine like how hard it was to play for him. But at the end of the day, you knew for a fact that come January, February, you were going to be playing for a championship, more than likely. A lot of players can say, "Hey, I won a championship because I played for Bill Belichick." Right? But I will say this: I guarantee you, he'll take one of those later Super Bowls and exchange it for the perfect season. I guarantee you, he'll say that.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. This has been our Super Wild Card Weekend preview and prediction show. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David Huppin. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And from the Daily Blitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. Gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring the heat.
No. Y'all need the heat. It's 52 degrees here.
See.
You gotta go to grandma's house.
Hey, no. I do one better. I hope y'all get hit with a nor'easter. I hope it.
Oh, that's terrible.
You know what? After we get off, let me get off.
We'll be back here on Saturday. We're gonna be doing a crossover episode, talking about the goings on in the NBA. So keep an eye out for that content. You guys all have a good night. Stay safe out there. And if you are somewhere where it's going to be frigid winter weather, if you do not have to go anywhere, please don't travel. Let first responders let the road, let snow plows do their job. So that's all I got. Peace out, guys.
See ya.